For over a decade, Sony and Microsoft have been beefing with each other and pretty much ignoring Nintendo. What I find funny about this is that Nintendo has been flexing on Sony and Microsoft in sales since the Wii. Let's exclude the Wii U, okay? We're not talking about the Wii U. Nintendo has been outselling Sony and Microsoft for quite some time, especially their exclusives. Anyways, Sony and Microsoft's rivalry has defined the console wars. Amid this fierce competition between these two giants, Nintendo has been doing its own thing, succeeding on their own terms. While Sony and Microsoft battled over hardcore gamers, air quotes, hardcore gamers, Nintendo doubled down on family-friendly entertainment, innovative hardware, and a philosophy that gameplay always comes first. But now, with the Nintendo Switch 2 on the horizon, the dynamics are shifting. The Switch 2 isn't just another incremental upgrade, it's a major leap forward for Nintendo, a true hybrid console with more horsepower than ever before. And for the first time since the Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo is positioning itself as a direct competitor in the performance race. And I think Sony and Microsoft are going to take notice. When the Nintendo Wii launched in 2006, it was a revolutionary console. While Sony and Microsoft were pushing high-definition gaming with the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, Nintendo went in a completely different direction. The Nintendo Wii wasn't about raw power. It was about accessibility, motion controls, and bringing families together. While critics originally dismissed this console as a gimmick, the Wii became a cultural phenomenon, outselling its adversaries and proving that gaming didn't need cutting-edge specifications to dominate the market. With the Nintendo Switch in 2017, Nintendo once again defied expectations by blending home console and handheld gaming into one seamless experience. A hybrid console that took what was great about the DS and the Wii and fused them together. The perfect formula. While the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were more powerful, the Nintendo Switch's versatility and unparalleled first-party lineup made it a must-have console. Nintendo dropped banger after banger after banger. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Animal Crossing New Horizons became system sellers. With the Nintendo Switch, they proved once again that innovation and exceptional intellectual properties could triumph over graphical specifications. Sony and Microsoft have largely ignored Nintendo's success, treating it as a separate entity in the gaming space. I genuinely think this was a foolish mistake by Sony and Microsoft. I've talked about the AAA video game industry crashing multiple times in previous videos on the channel and on our podcast Weaponized with my co-founder. Sony and Microsoft are going to be victims to this, but Nintendo isn't. Nintendo has not been focused on graphical fidelity at all. While Sony and Microsoft were battling it out over higher resolutions and faster frame rates, Nintendo carved out its own niche, appealing to casual gamers, families, and those like myself who value fun over purposeless eye candy. This eye candy that I assume is designed for investors to give them more money because I can't find any fun out of games like Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm sorry. I feel like Sony and Microsoft did not anticipate Nintendo being able to catch up to them and beat them at their own game. See, for a long time, since the Nintendo Wii, Nintendo has focused on first-party titles and not graphical fidelity, is what I've been getting at this whole video. But with the Nintendo Switch 2, they have both good games and they have a console powerful enough to support multi-platform titles. The same multi-platform titles that Sony and Microsoft have been relying on to keep their consoles afloat when they take forever to release any of their first-party titles that do not have the same level of value that Nintendo's original intellectual properties have. I'm just being honest with you. And this is a big deal. For years, third-party developers have struggled to bring their biggest titles to the Switch due to hardware limitations. Games like The Witcher 3 and Doom Eternal made it work, but often it came with major compromises. I mean, look at Mortal Kombat 1. Ugh. The Switch 2 is inevitably going to change this though. I mean, look at Cyberpunk 2077 on this thing. It looks nuts. Historically, Nintendo's consoles have existed in their own bubble. Nintendo has never wanted or needed to compete directly with PlayStation and Xbox. They cater to different audiences, but the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to change that. It's going to bring us all together. It's going to bring everybody to the same platform. And this is terrifying for Sony and Microsoft. The biggest advantage that the Switch has been its hybrid nature. The ability to play a game anywhere is unbeatable. It's a game changer, no pun intended. And if the Switch 2 can deliver performance similar to the current gen consoles, which it seems like it's going to do, it's going to become a serious consideration for gamers who want to take their multi-platform AAA games on the go. I mean, just imagine playing a game like Elden Ring or Cyberpunk 2077 on a handheld device with no compromises. That's what Nintendo is bringing to the table with the Switch 2. Oh, and let's not forget Nintendo's first-party dominance. They have an unbeatable first-party lineup. Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Metroid, Smash Brothers. I mean, these franchises sell consoles regardless of the hardware specifications. With iconic games and third-party support that is equivalent to its competitors, it becomes an even more attractive option than its predecessor. With the Switch 2, Nintendo is no longer just the family-friendly alternative or the gimmick company that a lot of these people say that they are. They've proven themselves with the Wii, with the Nintendo DS, and with the Nintendo Switch. They have been around for a long time, and they're not going anywhere. The Switch 2 is stepping into the ring as a true competitor to the PlayStation 5, and I think that Sony specifically is going to be on their toes. See, Sony and Microsoft have spent years battling with each other, but now they'll have to deal with a Nintendo that's playing by its own rules, while also delivering that AAA power that these hardcore gamers want. Hardcore gamers being in big air quotes here. One thing is for certain, the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming, and it's going to shake up the industry in a huge way. And the question isn't whether Sony and Microsoft will respond, it's how. How are Sony and Microsoft going to be able to deal with the Nintendo Switch 2? It's going to have the best first-party titles, period. Nintendo has always had this. This has never been in question. And if this is in question for you, you're seriously lost. And the Switch 2 is also much more powerful than its predecessor. It's going to have multi-platform games, and they're going to look good. We already have seen what FF7 Remake Integrate and Cyberpunk 2077 look like on this console. For us gamers, this is an incredibly exciting time. More competition means better games, more options, and a healthier industry. This is the perfect time for Nintendo to come in and sweep up all of Sony's market share. I've mentioned this so many times before on the Final Weapon channel. Sony has been resting on their laurels, sleeping in fact. Actually, they've been in a coma. Sony's head has blown up to magnificent proportions ever since the success of the PlayStation 4. The Switch 2 is going to shake up a lot of things, and I think it's going to prove Sony and Microsoft wrong. There's a lot at stake here, specifically for Sony, because Sony has Microsoft beat, and they just weren't considering Nintendo as competition. This is something that I've been saying since the Nintendo Switch 1. The only platforms that really matter are the Switch and PC. Having these two platforms as a gamer means that you have everything, and the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to make that even more real. There's an incredible slate of video games coming for the Nintendo Switch 2, with Mario Kart World obviously being the biggest one. Mario Kart has always been the ultimate system seller, and Mario Kart World looks to be the best Mario Kart yet. While I would love to see another Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Bonanza looks epic. The destructible environment is a huge flex for the Nintendo Switch 2, as it shows you how powerful this console really is. I think Donkey Kong Bonanza is the huge revival that the series desperately needs. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is a huge deal. This game was announced in 2017 at E3. E3 doesn't even exist anymore. It's been a long time since this game was announced, and I am ready for it. It looks awesome. I'm glad that they stuck with the original style that the series had and didn't stray away from what made the series great. Kirby Air Riders is just like, what, dude? I can't even believe that we have a sequel to Kirby Air Ride. And it's directed by the original Kirby creator, Masahiro Sakurai. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment looks awesome. We needed a game that showed us what happened during the Imprisoning War. And what's awesome is this game is apparently the canon prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. Finally, we have the Duskbloods. From Software's new IP exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, honestly, I can't see how you could be disappointed with the games that they showed. I feel like they gave everybody something to be excited about, and honestly, I cannot wait for this console to drop. Of course, you can expect Final Weapon to have tons of Nintendo Switch 2 content on our channel and on our website. And for all things Nintendo, subscribe to the channel, like and comment, and I'll see you later.